Hello, and welcome to the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of Indie PopCon, Gen Con, and the gaming capital of the world, we are the Established Facts.
Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 176.
It's 86.
100
No, it's not. It's 87.
Well, how come I said 175 on the last one?
I have no idea.
It was 174 when I checked it the last. That's what it said on the internet.
Did it really? Okay.
It did.
I love it when we
Welcome to episode
sound
We Don't
professional.
Know!
So professional.
Oh my goodness. Well, as you can tell, we are wrapping up our 2018 / I guess official convention season with the last convention of the year.
Second to last day of the year
With PopCon Fort Wayne. I think that, well, obviously, we're going to get into some of the details of what we really enjoyed about PopCon Fort Wayne, some of the things that we'd like to see improve for if they do another one next year, and, maybe just kind of look a little forward to some of the things that we're planning on doing in 2019 to get ready for, did I mess it up? Oh my, 187, my fault, episode 187. I guess that's what happens when you practice in a timey-wimey media like podcasting, and you never really know what episode is what.
If it makes you feel any better, Don, the episodes you missed recently, I messed up the episode number 3 times and had to re-record the number. I didn't even listen enough to the last episode to get it
great.
wrong.
That's great. Well, as you can see, we are obviously professionals after 182 episodes. So anyway, all right. So we're going to get into our normal formula of doing our con review. So
for those that are curious, we are on the road heading back to Indianapolis.
Right.
Which is why you hear the road.
Right. If you hear, it's a little bit different type of recording. If you can hear a little bit of background noise, we do apologize for that. We are on our way back home from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Beautiful city. Amazing Coney dogs.
Yeah.
There's a little place called Coney Island in Fort Wayne. If you're ever in the Fort Wayne area, check out that. Let's see what. So very quickly to review some of the local fare we have, which I don't think we do on a normal basis.
No.
But this was our first foray in an out-of-town convention for us to exhibit at, which was really fun. Coney Island. Is it just called Coney Island? Coney Dogs?
Fort Wayne's Coney Island
that's right.
Wiener House.
Fort Wayne's Coney Island Wiener hot dog house
of Doom.
Fantastic Coney dogs, and they were cheap.
Wiener Stand.
Even though it's in a building, it's okay. Whatever. Very, very, very good.
Very good.
$1.50 for a Coney dog.
Yeah.
You add cheese for like 25 cents.
Yeah.
It was really good. Really good quick eats too. I mean, we were in and out of there within about 30 minutes or less.
Now,
I think.
apparently we got in there before the busy time because they were talking about how busy it gets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The other place, let's see, King Euro.
Yep.
I don't know if that's I know it's obviously a local place in Fort Wayne, but I don't know if it's a franchise place or what. Really good gyros.
Yeah.
Really good gyros. And you can get extra pita bread for like nothing.
Yeah.
So those were really tasty. And then on Friday night, Joshy and we got a chance to go to a place in Fort Wayne called J.K. O'Donnell's, I believe is what it was called.
Yeah.
Like a little Irish pub. Fantastic food. And a shout out to our server at the restaurant, Holly. I don't know, if she'll ever hear this, but we appreciate everything she did for us while we were there. It was a really, really nice place, really fun feel, and Holly was a fantastic server for us while we were there.
And Features Restaurant at the Hilton, attached to Grand Wayne. Yep.
Yeah, the restaurant that's actually in the hotel, really good. Bartender was really nice. Servers were really great. Overall, I think the overall stay for us was really good stay. Beds were a little stiff, but but it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad at all. And we had a 24-hour game room that they had set up in the hotel, so we got a chance to kind of hang out with some friends and play some cards. We played Red Dragon Inn while we were there. We played Uno, hung out.
Dragonwood at the game area in the convention center.
That's right.
We learned Bunny Kingdom. Pixoid out of the 8-bit box from Yellow. Yeah. Which we've been saying yellow or yellow for a lot of stuff.
It's definitely yellow.
Yep, which is why they wear yellow, by the way.
And now we know. Shout out to Miranda, our local yellow game demoer, if you will, from Indianapolis. She was awesome to hang out with and play games with. Miranda, we definitely owe you a hangout and play some games game night.
Yep.
I think we tried to get together Friday night and she was exhausted, and then we tried to get together on Saturday night and we were exhausted, and so it just unfortunately didn't happen this time. As you can see, we're just kind of going over some of the things, some of the highlights, and we'll get into what our favorite and least favorite things are. But big shout out to Purvis Games.
Purvis
Games is a game company out of Louisville, Kentucky, owned and operated by Justin and Corey Purvis. Fantastic people in general. They published a game called Movie Buff, which is on its current 3rd printing, which is fantastic, especially for an indie game developer. 3rd printing of the game. The game is so awesome. We got a chance to play it on episode whatever came before this one. 186. I think I said 175 on that one for some reason. It's okay. But we got a chance to play that game on the live podcast stage at PopCon Fort Wayne, which was so much fun. We got a chance to kind of talk to them about their process in designing the game and getting their business off the ground and some of their expectations. So if you haven't gotten a chance to listen to that episode, please go back and check it out. Don't allow the episode number mistake to take away any joy you might have from listening to us be really silly and talk about some of our favorite movies.
It's true.
And they also threw in one of their games, and I forgot to say this about Miranda as well. Miranda and Purvis Games both threw in a couple of games for our PopCon giveaway, like we like to do while we're at most conventions, but definitely PopCon. Hooked us up with Decrypto, right? Is that what it's
from Yellow Games?
From Yellow Games, and then a copy of Movie Buff from Purvis Games. We got a chance to give those away, which was a lot of fun. Let's see. We got a chance to meet David Sobolov, who was an extremely sweet guy. He is a friend of our improv coach, friend, and mentor, Peter Spellows. They've done, I don't think they've done any Transformer shows together, but they met a few years ago at a Transformers convention in London, I believe, and hit it off really well, and we got a chance to take a picture with him and talk to him for a little bit. Very, very nice guy. He actually plays the voice of, you know what? He's in the new Bumblebee movie. I can't remember.
He's the voice of Grodd and all the Arrowverse stuff.
Yeah, Gorilla Grodd. He plays Drax the Destroyer in the Avengers cartoon?
I think so.
Something like that. He's done a ton of different Transformers voices. He played Shockwave, and he played Depth Charge from Beast Wars, and a couple of other, and like I said, he's in the Bumblebee movie, as well as one of the voices of a Decepticon that I cannot remember for the life of me off the top of my head. It's like Nightwing or Nighthawk or something along those lines. So, sorry, David, I don't remember the character, but he was a fantastic guy to hang out with, and actually Joshy won a little thing that he was giving away for helping him get to 1,000 followers on Instagram. He won a little
Bumblebee prize pack.
That's right, Bumblebee prize pack with a little gift bag, transformer in it, a little battery pack.
Yeah, the battery pack has a cassette tape on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's pretty neat looking.
That's awesome. So he was a delight. One of my early highlights for the convention, I made Barry Boswick, who was at the convention, laugh because he came by and I said good morning, and I think you may have said something to him about coming to our improv show on Saturday night. And then I said, yeah, and if you show up, we might even throw toilet paper at you, which, if you know anything about going and seeing the Rocky Horror Picture Show, that is definitely a thing.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun, and he laughed really hard, and I felt good about making Barry Boswick laugh. And our friend Rachel from the Five-ish Fangirls podcast got a pair of Fruit of the Loom Tidy Whities signed by him.
Yep.
Which was really, really
and
funny.
And an interview.
Which, yeah, if you get a chance, go check that interview out with Barry Boswick. Not sure when it drops, but definitely keep an eye out for that, the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. Okay, so, Joshy.
Yes.
What was your favorite part of PopCon Fort Wayne?
Okay, so for those who aren't aware, Donald and I went also representing Breakfast Anytime, and I would suffice it to say that I think both of our favorite parts was the actual improv show, but besides the improv show, which we'll talk about a little bit later, I think the demo time we spent before the con started with Les Eller and Miranda from Yellow Games.
And Ryan
Keys.
Ryan Keys, yeah.
Learning Pixoid and Bunny Kingdom was an absolute blast. I really love Bunny Kingdom.
Real quick shout out to our volunteer friend Hannah, who played Pixoid with us. She's a huge help to Les. Every year that they do PopCon, she is one of the, I don't know if she's like a head volunteer or anything like that, but she is amazing. All of the volunteers in general at PopCon are fantastic.
Yeah.
So definitely a big shout out to all of them as well.
I think it was just fun because the Learning Bunny Kingdom, as I was coming Saturday to go to the hall, Ryan Keys actually hollered at me, hey, come over here and teach these volunteers how to play this game. I got to go take care of an issue. Like, I'm going to try and actually sit at our table and get ready for the convention, and got called to demo a game that I learned the night before.
Yeah. Which, that was a really fun game. If you get a chance to play Bunny Kingdom, it's a really fun resource management kind of territory grab game with little bitty bunnies that you draw you draft card. It's a drafting game. And you use the cards that you draft in order to allocate new resources and things like that. So it was a really fun game. That was a really good time. Okay, I would have to say my favorite part of PopCon Fort Wayne, again, very similar to Josh, aside from the actual improv show itself, I would have to say the interaction and the podcast recording that we did with Purvis Games. Corey and Justin, in general, all weekend, were extremely funny, extremely delightful people. We also got a chance. I of course love meeting new people at conventions like this. We got the chance to meet Jeannie and William from an improv group up in Fort Wayne called Broken Pencil Improv. They were very, very cool people to talk to and hang out with. We got a chance to hang out with them after our show on Saturday night. We had a drink together and just kind of talked improv and kind of the history that we've all gone through and getting into doing improv comedy and stuff like that. But I would have to say, definitely our time hanging out with Purvis Games was probably my favorite moment of the weekend. And of course, we had a really, really good show with Breakfast Anytime Improv Comedy. Everybody in our Breakfast Anytime Improv Comedy group that was there was fantastic. I know some of them had some nerves that they were trying to fight, but in general, I think everybody did an incredible job with that show. We had a great audience, had a lot of fun. really funny suggestions for the improv games and stuff like that. If you've never seen short form improv, especially if you've never seen Breakfast Anytime do short form improv, definitely keep your ear to the ground in anticipation of when we do another show, which I believe we've got another show coming up, little cafe show in February. We'll put more details out there for everybody to see here soon, though. So, of course, with the good, sometimes there are not so good things. So, Joshy, what would you say your least favorite thing about PopCon Fort Wayne might have been this year?
Well, in this instance, we've actually already spoken with some of the leadership at PopCon. The podcast stage was not set up for recording. Luckily, we were able to find the cable we needed so that we could plug into our recording unit so we can get you that wonderful episode with Purvis Games.
Episode 164.
Yeah, 186. So that we could, it was it just felt very forgotten. Other than it was a great location. Like, people could see us, doing the recording and coming up, and Brandon did an absolutely amazing job filling the slots, getting people up there for interviews and whatnot. But as podcasters, we need to know what we need to bring or what is going to be available, and I think that was I think that would probably be the only issue that I kind of came up with. Overall, the operation of the convention went really smoothly. Like, we didn't have any issues getting our badges. There was one where they gave us wristbands for our press badges, only then find out that they had press badges to give us, but they remedied that quickly. And
Chris and Carl did a fantastic job
they did.
At the administrative side of getting PopCon Fort Wayne moving in the right direction and stuff like that. And like you said, there were a couple of times when we stopped and got a chance to talk to Carl very quickly, which doesn't normally happen at Indie PopCon because it's a bit bigger and there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more irons in the fire, if you will, and he's got to juggle a lot of different things at one time. So it was really kind of neat to be able to kind of check in with him every once in a while to see how things were going and how things were progressing. I would have to say my least favorite thing for PopCon Fort Wayne, and not to say that this necessarily has anything to do with any of the staff or anything like that for PopCon Fort Wayne, but I feel like the crowd was definitely
down.
Yeah, it was a really light crowd. Obviously, there are a lot of contributing factors to that kind of thing. First of all, you and I kind of talked about it a little bit too. Having a convention the weekend following Christmas and right before New Year's may be a factor for that, because you got a lot of people who are still out of town because of vacation holidays, things like that. You got people who maybe don't have a ton of money to go to the con and spend for vendors and stuff like that, because I know that we had a couple of authors that were next to us, and they were saying that they felt like it was, as far as their profits and such were concerned, were really low compared to what they normally get. And I think a lot of that is kind of a culminating, contributing factor due to the fact that it was so close to Christmas and New Year, that holiday and such. Not to say that if you moved it more forward in the beginning of December that people would, or that the result would be much different, because obviously then you're competing with people who may have early Christmases or something like that with their family, but at least then you're not necessarily dealing with kids who are on school break and maybe out of town.
Sure.
Maybe considering pushing it into the beginning of January could be something. But in general, I think that was kind of my least favorite thing. I will say, though, in the contrast of what was my least favorite thing, the people that we did get a chance to talk to that were there, the attendees that we did get a chance to talk to, fantastic.
Yeah.
They were really excited about the con, which makes me hopeful for the future of the con in Fort Wayne. Whether it happens or not, obviously that's up to PopCon, but I feel like there was a really positive energy for the people that were able to come and enjoy themselves at the convention. Very enthusiastic people. They had some really fantastic cosplay. There wasn't a ton of cosplay as compared to what we see at some of the other bigger cons that we go to, but the cosplay that was there was really fantastic.
The winner of the cosplay contest was
a Tauntaun. Was a Han Solo on a Tauntaun.
Yep.
Really, really good. And the young lady who was in that cosplay, I guess, had done enough research that when people were kind of throwing her lines from the Empire Strikes Back movie, she was able to just kind of return them with Han's next line and things like that. It was really, really, really good.
Yeah.
And the costume was fantastic. And I guess they had several really, really good costumes that were in the cosplay contest. So kudos to them. Shout out to anybody who goes through the effort of being able to put that kind of thing together. All the props go to you for that motivation to build those kind of really neat costumes. So, okay, Joshy.
Yeah.
For, let's say, PopCon Fort Wayne 2019, what would you say you would like to better prepare for the future event?
I just need to be able to hook up to any system to use my little portable recorder in the future. This Tascam has been very helpful for us, even like right now. Even if you hear the road, at least you can also hear us, and I want to be prepared in that instance. And the other side of it is, because it's the first one on the road, we didn't know everything we needed to take. So we had a supply of business cards, thanks to Don having some. But usually I've got boxes of business cards, and between forgetting that and having to make the trip back before we headed north to get our posters, I think it might be best to have some sort of checklist of these are the things we need for a convention every time.
Yeah, I would say in a very, very similar vein, because this was our first exhibiting out-of-town convention, because, we go to Fear the Con and stuff like that, and that's out-of-town as well, but we don't have to prepare as much when we do that, because it's basically we're going as an attendee, so, as long as we've got clean clothes and we've got a little bit of cash in our pocket to be able to get gas or pay for whatever, while we're doing that kind of stuff, that's a much different experience than being an exhibitor that's going out of town and maybe having a stay at a hotel or something like that. So yeah, I found myself realizing once we got to Fort Wayne that there were 4 or 5 things that I meant to either ask you about or grab myself that I had forgotten. And of course, Fort Wayne from Indianapolis, if you're not familiar, is about a 2.5 hour drive one way. And it's like, well, we're not going to turn around and drive 4 total hours to go back home and then come back up to Fort Wayne just to grab a huge plastic bowl to put candy in and grab a Dungeons and Dragons 5th ed book. Like, that's not going to happen, But it was interesting to note mentally that when you're doing an out-of-town con, you have to be twice as prepared, which means you're probably going to load your vehicle down a lot more than what you normally would in order to make sure that everything that you need is with you. So that was definitely a learning experience for us in that way. I think also in, talking a little bit about the improv show that Breakfast Anytime, Joshy and I and our friends at Breakfast Anytime were able to perform at PopCon Fort Wayne on Saturday night. I would have to say some additional preparation for that. I think we did a really good job at preparing ourselves, but there were probably a few things that we could have done better to prepare the room for the event, things like that. And obviously, the reason I'm lumping that into this discussion is because we were performing for and at the convention.
Yes.
And that is definitely something that we will continue to be doing. We should be at Indie PopCon performing there, and then probably a few other conventions before and after that in the Indianapolis area. So again, definitely keep your eyes open for those kind of announcements and so forth on our social media stuff, and then obviously in our podcasts we'll be talking about that kind of stuff as well upcoming. Okay, so let's see, we've done favorite thing, we've done least favorite thing, we've done what we would do to improve. I don't know. What else do we got?
Looking forward.
Oh, yeah. What do we... Yeah, absolutely. It's been a minute since I've done this.
I know.
Okay. So, yeah, Josh, what are you looking forward to for PopCon 2019 in Fort Wayne, Indiana?
I think... I think this is a convention, at least at the size that it is, that if we can find out if there's some stuff for, like, the kids to do, I think that our families would have a good time up here in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, I agree.
If there's stuff for the kids to do. It's a lot like St. Louis. Like, with St. Louis, you could take a night or two over in St. Louis, and there's stuff for the kids to do.
Yeah.
Between the children's museums and stuff along those lines. If Fort Wayne has that same thing, I think it would be a great little family trip to come up and do that with the family while we're working. My wife enjoyed taking Maggie to the Children's Museum. I think she would enjoy seeing the convention for a little bit and then go and doing something with Maggie. Like, I think they would enjoy that. But ultimately, I look forward to it happening again with more people.
Yeah.
Now, maybe not 3 times the people like Carl may want, even maybe double. I think would be a good start, a good growth jumping off point. Speaking with him, Fort Wayne, I guess, doesn't have the best history with conventions, because conventions are not always the best. They may not have been prepared for PopCon. PopCon does a really good job of running their convention, and operationally speaking, it was run really well. But it was sparse. I think it was sparsely attended because there wasn't a lot of hope for a good convention. So,
I felt like I honestly felt like if I was going to give PopCon Fort Wayne a letter grade of any kind, I would definitely say it was a solid B plus show. Because there were a lot of, obviously, there were a couple of things that were contributing factors to it being kind of probably a lower attendance. The holiday season still being in effect, people on vacation, finances, whatever it might have been. But I think that there were a lot of really cool experiences that they had at Fort Wayne PopCon that they don't get a chance to have at Indy PopCon. For example, they usually have like an arcade room and things like that. But at Fort Wayne, they actually had a laser tag room, which I don't think I've seen at Indy PopCon. Not to say that they wouldn't do it at Indy PopCon, but it was really neat to see some of the different things that they had.
Laser tag, VR, and esports, all represented. And
then right outside of that area was where they had their game demo area, which I thought was fantastic. Obviously, Joshy and I, being big gamers, loving board games and role-playing games and things like that, I will say they did also have a live RP room on the second floor of the convention center, and then they had a 24-hour game room in, I believe it was the Hamilton room, in the Hilton. The Hilton. So there was there was a ton.
Well, Hoosier Gamers was there with their lending library, too.
Oh, that's right. And they were right next to the large event area, the big event space. Yeah, so there was an extremely large amount of area for people to be there and to play games and stuff like that. And I think what's really cool to see about that is they are setting themselves, it's kind of like planting your seed in anticipation of rain. They are setting things up that if they are able to continue to run PopCon Fort Wayne, there are a lot of really good positives that are going to help them for future conventions. Also, I think that I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of new things Indy PopCon is going to have now, based on what success Fort Wayne had. Like I said, there were a lot of really neat things that Fort Wayne had that Indy PopCon may not necessarily have yet. And I'm really anticipating there to be a lot of really neat changes to the Indie PopCon event roster and things like that, due to what people in Fort Wayne have kind of provided for us to see and to experience. So, well, overall, I would have to say that PopCon Fort Wayne was definitely successful.
Yep.
We don't know on the financial side of things how successful it was for the guys running the convention and things like that, because obviously you got to be able to pay bills and you got to be able to afford to do it again. I think Joshy and I have a lot of hope that there will be a second PopCon Fort Wayne. I would love for them to be able to find a really good date, maybe even like other than Starbase Indy. I don't know of any bigger named conventions that are going on usually in November. So maybe they decide to do it in November, even like maybe before Thanksgiving, so that they don't necessarily have to compete with another convention like Starbase Indy. But whatever they decide to do, I think it's going to be really good stuff. I'd love to see PopCon be able to do this kind of stuff in a lot of different areas, especially if you do it in somewhat college towns. Fort Wayne's not necessarily a college town. They have like Taylor University, and Ball State University in Muncie is not extremely far away. But like if they decided to do something like this in Bloomington, where you have Indiana University, or even like Lafayette and West Lafayette, where you have Purdue University, things like that. That one might be really neat, like to see PopCon branch out and do sort of a collection of local conventions for people who don't get a chance to come all the way to Indianapolis for PopCon. So yeah, I think there's lots of really great opportunities. Obviously, Joshy and I are optimists,
yes.
So we'll see what happens with all of that. I want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to Carl and Chris for running a really fun, really good convention. Big shout out to Purvis Games again. Corey and Justin, you were fantastic. Miranda at Yellow Games, you were also fantastic and awesome for both of you guys donating stuff for our giveaway. We have so many people to thank. In general, we just want to thank everyone who was able to attend, who were able to exhibit, who were guests of honor at the convention. You have made this convention a really great experience for us at the Established Facts. I'm going to encourage all of our other Established Facts folks, not just our podcasters, but also our audience, to check out the stuff that PopCon is doing. If you get a chance to go to PopCon Fort Wayne next year, or Indie PopCon especially, please come to the convention. It's fantastic. You can come and hang out with us, play some board games and stuff like that. So, on our last episode of the Established Facts, we established very simply, roar! And if you don't understand that, obviously, go back and listen to episode 2 of the Established Facts, and you will definitely
186.
get... Oh, 186, right, yeah, sorry.
But, did it scare you?
Did you scare me? Of course you scared me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. On this episode 187 of the Established Facts, we have established that in no way, shape, or form are Joshy and I ever going to remember what episode we are actually on.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to episode 122 of the 187 of the Established Facts. And we will check you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Please visit us at www.theestablishedfacts.com and our Facebook page, facebook.com/theestablishedfacts. If you would like to support us by buying some merchandise, visit cafepress.com/castingrobot.
Bonus